Now, fast forward, my son was born August 12th, and she took pictures and sent it to me. So it really hit me when I seen the picture. That was my face. So I sent it to my baby sister. Me and my baby sister and my brother, we got the same father, and I sent her the picture. So jokingly, she was like, "Yo, who baby is that?" So I said, "You see the face?" She was like, "What you gonna do?" I said, "I don't really know. I don't know what I do." And I told her what Jackie said, and the first thing she said that changed my life to where it is now. My sister, who's younger than me, she said, "Whatever you do, you're in control of your own life." She said, "But if you choose to be a father to that baby, don't do to him what our father did to us." My sister is light skinned and my brother's light skinned from the same father.
Yeah.
I'm dark skinned. He didn't, accept me as his son because I was dark skinned. He thought my mother cheated. So my sister and my brother have his last name. I don't. I have my stepfather's last name.
Damn.
So, she was like, "Yo, whatever you do, don't do to him what our father did to us." So I was like, "Damn, that shit hit deep. That hit real deep." So I had to go back, clean the pie off my face, make amends with my son's mother, and was like, "Yo, I'm going to be there. Like, we're going to go through this." So it became official. And she was like, "All right, sign the birth certificate."
That's crazy. It takes that one family member
Yeah.
to like actually say something. Cause like that's crazy. You say that. My brother Sean
Uh-huh.
don't never talk about nothing.
Mm.
My first daughter, he said, "Yo, you gotta do right." So that's hearing that is like crazy.
Yeah, she said that. And I was just like, and then my best friend, my man, who's a little bit older than me, family man, family oriented and everything, he laughed. But he laughed because when he seen Darren, the picture I sent him, he was like, "Yo, who put your face on that baby?" I'm like, "Yo, stop playing." He's like, "Nah, who did that?" So he knew my girl that I was with at the time. So, he was just breaking it down from an older person's perspective. He was like, "Yo, bro, that's your kid." He was like, "You never supposed to deny your kid." He was like, "But at the same time, you got to give her a choice to whether she going to stay or she going to leave."
Yeah.
He said, "You can't keep that from her." So, again, another obstacle to where life began to transition to where I am today. Because when I told her, I'm upstate, and I'm like, almost had a nightmare. Like, yo, I gotta tell this fucking female I got a baby with another chick. So I called her in the morning, and I'm like, "Yo, we gotta talk whenever you get up. I got something I gotta tell you." I'm thinking she's asleep. 2 seconds later, my phone rung. "What did you do? What happened?" She's already got, her assumptions because I'm 7 hours away. "What did you do? What happened?" or whatever. So I said, "Yo, be a man. Just come out and just get it over." So I said, "Yo, there's a possibility I might be a dad. I might have a son out there." She's like, "You fucking kidding me? Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, yo." So the first thing to her is, we can still deal with this. I'm like, "Okay, how? What's the next step?" She said, "You gonna go get a DNA test." This is where everything changed. I said, "I ain't getting no DNA test. You fucking bugging." She was like, "What? Oh, so you know it's yours?" I said, "Yeah, that's my son." From there, the first time I held him. I'm just like, "Yo, I got a good opportunity here to do something different. You know, to be a stand-up dude and a dad at the same time." And I just knew, that's what my moms would have wanted, because she died. My two aunts died the same year. My mother died August. My aunt died September, and my other aunt died in October. The following year, 2007, Darian was born August. My nephew Matthew was born October, and my niece Jazzy was born in September. So I just knew that was something she would want. My mother would have kicked my ass if I ain't step up
and
handle
do
my
it.
responsibility.
That's deep, man.
Yeah.
So now we got little D. Growth is happening.
Yeah.
You doing everything you're doing, and now it's up. Now you hit that block. You know everybody knows you have diabetes.
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Like,
Uh, for early on, believe it or not, I found out I had diabetes before I became a father.
mm-hmm.
But I got so excited once I held my son and entering fatherhood that stupidly health came secondary. I deal with it when I deal with it. You know, I'm a dad. This is, I have
Yeah,
a little man. I get to go buy, sneakers and toys and things. And
yeah,
I concentrated more on that. But then it was also the family aspect was being pushed as well. And that was, although I'm family oriented, to start a family of my own was pretty much new to me.
yeah,
So, the stress of that, living up to being a stand up dude and being loyal and dealing with one woman. And now, she don't come alone. She got another kid. He was 6 at the time. So now, we under the same roof. So I'm pretty much, I'm the stepdad to him while raising mine. You got to do a lot of things different.
yeah,
The stress of all of that was taking its toll. And one part of being a diabetic is you can't really let stress set in because stress trickles into the sickness itself. And a lot of things can get worse. So it started to get worse. I started to gain a lot of weight because I was stressed out. And there was just one real point. I didn't care. I really didn't care. I didn't care which way it went. So I was looking at it like I was on borrowed time. It's only a matter of time before, it's going to get a little bit worse than what it is.
and despite all that, like you sitting there, you battling with that. How was like the day to day to rebound, like to like really like, cause you had to get surgery and stuff.
Yeah.
How did at like and I don't want us to really speak on the surgery part, but how was the next day sitting in the bed looking up at the ceiling?
So my son's mother, even though we were going through what we were going through at the time, she was one of my biggest supporters. And one of the main things she would say to me, when you deal with your shorty, you know when she's being sincere.
Yeah,
And you know when she's just like talking. So certain things I would just like go through one and out the other. But then she would speak so sincere when she'd be like, she would say things like, yo, you trying to fucking leave out of here? Just give up life and you don't want to fucking be here? She's like, yo, you got a son, nigga. Imagine what he gonna think. Like you can't afford to give up. You don't have what somebody else might have the way they could give up. You can't give up. You got 2 boys that's looking up to you. So that shit meant a lot to me. So now we fast forward to, the surgery part or whatever. And I was told one thing during surgery that I signed off on, which was they were going to take from my knee all the way down. And because it was the first time I was going to experience something like that, the doctor gave me about 45 minutes to ponder it over. So I'm sitting there and I'm crying. Like, I couldn't even call a family member or nobody. I'm crying like, it's like, you got to go through this, but I'm going to give you a moment to think about it, how you're going to go about it. So came back 45 minutes later, gave me the paperwork, I signed it, and it just so happened by, the grace of God, it was a doctor that was not too much older than me. So he was like, whatever you thinking right now, I've already seen somebody go through it 1,000,000 times over. He was like, you're going to make it. You're going to get through this. So I'm like, yo, just get it over with. Just want to get over it.
Mm-hmm.
So come put me under anesthesia. Woke me up. When they woke me up, the first thing I did is grab my leg. And I'm like, yo, did they do it? Like, the whole leg is there. So the doctor assistant was there. He was another young dude. He was like, I said, I know what you're feeling for. And he was like, I'm going to explain it to you. Just give me a minute. Let you come back up a little bit more from the anesthesia. So I'm like, all right, half an hour go past. And he told me, he said, while you were out, they did another test on my bone structure and my veins. So the infection was pretty much just in the foot. So he said they were trying to save the foot, but once they took the infection out of the foot, what was left of the foot, I still wouldn't have been able to walk on it. So they had to go to their boss, the head doctor, the director of the surgery department, and see what he would come up with, what plan he came up with. I'm still out under anesthesia.
Yeah.
So they came up with, the doctor, he said, just take from the ankle down. The bone structure for the leg and everything else is still intact. It has no bearing on the infection that took in the foot. Just take the foot. Take the foot completely and leave the whole leg. So, people see the prosthetic, but based on the way the prosthetic is built, inside of it, I still have my entire leg. I just don't have from the ankle down.
Ankle down.
Yeah.
So now we see the prosthetic. That's I think you had like a year training. You actually got it posted up your process.
Yeah.
So now I want to talk about 24.
My boy.
24 was close to you. I seen this dude a few times, even in lost battles, but
That's like a brother figure to me.
so yeah.
We and I use that word wisely. I don't mean like my mother's kid brother. I mean like my brother. Like we didn't over football. We didn't have times to where we try to cut each other. Literally, he nicked me, I nicked him, and the razor never went through the flesh. I didn't hit him over his head with a Budweiser bottle. This is all over football. You know what I mean? That's how tight me and him was.
Uh-huh.
And we played, the first football tournament I ever played in was in Brooklyn and Kingston Park on concrete. And we had our own team. And Trey from Dynasty, Trey played at the time. Trey was in his prime, and he played for this team.
Trey, that's NYPD right now.
Yeah.
It's
He
a cool
played for this
dude.
team called the Falcons. That was our first victory. So mind you, we played in flag leagues in the hood to where, I'm coming into my own as being a quarterback. But again, it's all raw. Just strictly on, I got an arm, I got a strong arm. I can make any throw, but not really knowing the X's and O's. So now we go into this tournament, we put our own money up, went to BQ. Woody gave us these bum-ass all red with just plain white number jerseys. So, now we thinking we doing something. We haven't practiced, but I took it more serious. To where it was like, I'm not going out there with y'all. Y'all don't know what the fuck y'all doing. We're going to be the laughing stock of the league. You can't do this, you can't do that. Tone played high school football. So he had a little bit more structure. Plus, his uncles played football on one of the top flag football teams in New York City at the time, the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
So he was pretty much, me and him always bumped heads. No, you're not going to do this. I'm like, bro, cut it out. You on defense, I'm on offense. You ain't got nothing to do with what I'm doing unless I need you. So we always bumped heads. So after my mother passed and my son was born, I ended up relocating back, coming back to the city, just all together. So I used to come home on the weekends and see ETS before it was BQFL.
Yeah.
I used to see ETS. And I was like, I never knew this was over here in Bushwick or whatever. My sister lived in Bushwick. I was like, this shit look all right. It's about something. So when I relocated and I'm back in New York, one of the first things my son's mother said to me at the time was like, you need an outlet besides, trying to be this dad, find a job, and, be a family man. You need an outlet.
Hold on, cut. Move it closer to you.
Me?
The mic.
This one?
Yeah.
That's good?
Speak.
Testing, that's good?
A little closer.
That's good? Okay. So she was like, you need an outlet. You need some type of recreational activity that, to keep your mind, even across the board. But, I'm living in the Bronx with her. So I'm like, if anything, or if I go look for anything, it's going to be in Brooklyn. So I just happened to go out there one Sunday and watch it. This is my first time introducing myself to what we know now as the TFL. But so I watched it, and me just coming from the atmosphere before I went to school playing football, that rough touch league, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is easy. This is nothing. I need a team. So I called my man Tone. Yo, Tone, I found this league in Bushwick. I think we should put a team in. He like, you dead serious? So when it came to football, whatever I was with, he was with 100% as long as I gave it a fair shot. So the first team, we had the team. Before we had jerseys, we had orange T-shirts. And everybody else in the league at the time had jerseys and everything. Tiki and them had the Raider colors with the Cobras.
Yeah.
The Titans had, their colors.
Yeah, the Texans joint or something like
Yeah,
that.
the Flames had the Browns
Titans, I mean.
colors.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we gotta look a certain way or whatever. Went back to BQ. I think Mick and them had their heavy hitter jerseys was the Cincinnati Bengals colors
Yeah.
that they didn't pay for. They left it, whatever happened. He sold us those joints. He sold us those jerseys. We took those jerseys. That's how we got our first jerseys. So now I'm like, I need, how am I going to go about a team name or whatever? So my son's mother was like, yo, pretty much everything you do is surrounded on, based on your mother not being here and you continuing her legacy. So she was like, although everybody say New Breed, my son's mother came up with the name MJ's New Breed. It's my mother's initial. That's the official name, MJ's New Breed. So she was like, yo, put it in your mother's name. I'm like, all right. So that's how, the name came about. We started competing, and then, again, Tone was pretty much like the ambassador for everybody. The team itself, the first official New Breed team, consisted of guys I grew up with in my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it was 15 of us, only 6 knew how to actually play organized football. So I'm teaching and still learning at the same time how to play this rough touch football.
Yeah.
Dudes didn't know how to play. So once I got the first full season taste of it, this is when I started through Wes, the referee. I met Wes. So
Westcott or
Westcott.
Westcott?
I met Westcott. He got me the job working in the hospital. So now I got a little bit of revenue to where I could put forward working with this football organization. We're going with MJ's New Breed. Had a talk with my son's mother. I was like, that was a good, lookout to put it in my mother's name. I said, but we're going to put it in my mother's name. We got to do it like she would do it. So she was like, I agree. So she was, we brainstormed. And she was like, what was your mother's colors? And I was like, purple and gold. Those were her favorite colors. So she was like, we should, explore having the uniforms, her colors. It just so happened I was a Ravens fan or a big Ray Lewis fan. I was like, the Ravens. And she was like, yeah. So that's how all that came about. But now, my roster personnel got to change. I had guys that were selling drugs, that were gangbangers, trying, on Saturday or Sunday for a couple hours to play football. But they wasn't taking it serious. We would get smacked, and they want to fight.
That's crazy.
I'm trying to go away from that.
Yeah.
So they, I don't do this football shit for real. Like, nigga, let me show you what I
About
really
that
do.
life, yeah.
Tone, believe it or not, Tone actually really did both. He was in the streets and he played football. There were times that he would come to Lindsay when it was ETS, and if his gun wasn't inside his cleats, it was on some Bruce Willis shit, duct tape to his
Duct
back.
tape. I'm dead.
That's the type of time he was on. And it was one day, I'll never forget it. We played Dynasty, 8 o'clock game in the morning. Played Dynasty. Dynasty beat us. We didn't get beat bad, but we got beat. And I stayed to just watch the games and, be a student of the game. He drove this ambulance van because he worked for an ambulance service. So that's how niggas got to the games from the hood with Tone. So he about to leave. I'm getting on the train to go back to the Bronx. But I'm chilling, watching the games or whatever. So he goes around the block with the team in the van and comes back to the front of Lindsay, come in the park. And I seen the cleat on his shoulder. I'm like, hey, this nigga, he about to be on some bullshit. So he come to the point, he like, yo, why you still here? Like, we don't fuck with these niggas, bro. Like, he still had that street mentality. And I'm like, yo, bro, I want to see the games, see the teams, so we can prepare going forward or whatever. He like, yo, man, fuck all that. We play anybody, anyway. Fuck that. That was just his mentality. But then, just having more conversations outside of football of why it was so important to stay in that life, that football life, he started to, migrate over to seeing it my way and wanted to be a part of it. The more he stayed around football, the less he was on the block,
Yeah.
Doing certain things or whatever. And it's real fucked up. He got killed over something that had nothing to do with him.
Wow.
He was one of those dudes in the hood. Like if you was going through some shit, yo, leave that nigga Maine alone, yo.
Yeah.
Why don't you do that shit to me? Like, why you doing that? He was one of them dudes.
Yeah.
So he ended up getting into an altercation with a dude over somebody else, but it ended up being his problem. And because it became his problem, he wasn't going to stop. And the only way to stop somebody had to leave him. You know what I mean? So it was one of them situations. But his football following, they used to call him Keyshawn. His favorite football. He's a diehard Jets fan, and he was a diehard Keyshawn Johnson fan. He modeled how he played football around Keyshawn Johnson. So his nickname in football was Keyshawn. And because of him, and his number was 24, I never allowed nobody
To wear it.
24.
That's deep, man. That's deep. So now we look into pro city basketball.
I was always around pro city basketball, but they would not let the organization I was with in, but they would let the players in. So we could never, get in pro city. But because we couldn't get on pro city was pretty much at that time based on what you did in other tournaments is how you got the invite. So one of the goals each summer was eventually they got to let us in. Until they do, we're just going to become great at everything else we're in so that they can see it and we be noticed. So, the core never changed. The guys, I've coached guys that started when I started, and which was difficult because, it's like, he was a player, now he a coach. Why I got to listen to him or whatever? So the transition, it was difficult at first. But then when you make sense and sense trickles over into winning, you got to buy into the program.
Yeah.
So, once we started winning, we kept the same nucleus. Guys that went from high school played over the summer. We never played high school, played like 2 high school tournaments. But everything else was predominantly unlimited. So if you just started high school, we had a high school tournament for you. If you was an upperclassman, junior, senior, about to go to college, you played unlimited. So it trickled over. Guys that were in high school, about to graduate, college, they played unlimited. Every summer they came home. So that if they got a pro job overseas, they came home, our team was the organization they rocked with.
For y'all, he's talking about basketball.
Basketball. Yeah. So, it became less stressful and less difficult because the core stayed the same. So everybody knew the assignment and knew their role when they came home. You didn't have to, you see organizations to where you play overseas, but there's a kid local that goes to one of the colleges that can play just as well as you play. Now you're on the same team. Somebody got to decide who's going to be the alpha male and who's going to follow.
Yeah.
Nobody had to worry about that in our organization. Everybody knew, Jamaica's home for the summer, this is what it is. Meach is home for the summer, this is what it is. Back then, when I first started, it was Mookie, John, and it was Murder. Both work in the school system, now they deans. But, this is what it is. When they come home, this is who we go through. This is who we run through, win or lose. It never changes. So, the more we did it, the more, it just started to look like this was something I was supposed to do.
So now this is when you won Coach of the Year.
Yeah,
How did that feel?
great, because that summer I won Coach of the Year for Gersh, actually. Um, Gersh was pretty much number one as far as basketball tournaments go. They were number one in the
You,
city.
you know, you know, East New York Ty used to play with me, right? With
East
the
New York
Nile,
Ty.
right?
Yeah, Ty. Yeah, I know. The
The
quarterback.
Nile told him, yeah.
Yeah, Tone. Um, Ty was a hell of a basketball player too.
Yeah, I heard.
Brooklyn USA. He
Yeah, I
played
tried to
AAU and all
challenge
that.
him. He told
Yeah,
me shut up.
Ty. It's just crazy how he transitioned into being one of the top MCs in New York City.
Yeah.
But at that time, the crazy part is we came up a little bit short the summer before,
Hmm.
and we based everything going forward on, because every year we're in West Forth. Now and every year we're in Hoops in the Sun. We're gonna do those tournaments, but our goal is to take Gersh because of how we lost the year before.
Yeah.
So now, Gersh come around and we go 0-3. The reason we went 0-3, Jamaica had a situation where he couldn't come home. Meach had an extended contract to where he's usually home around the beginning of May. He's not coming home until probably like the end of June. Gersh starts June 17. We had a laughing stock of Gersh. 0-3, now we 0-4 to be exact. 0-4, and no, I'm sorry, correction, it was 0-3. And they're laughing, yo, where's Jamaica? Where's Meach? This is the team y'all put in the tournament? Get them out of here. This is how they treating us. So we made a couple of adjustments. A couple of other pieces came home, and then Meach finally comes home, and then we added Deadpool, the kid Allen. Allen was a hell of a scorer, but we added Allen because we knew Jamaica wasn't coming home, but we didn't know how Meach and Allen was going to work. And the big thing was, this is Meach's team regardless. Jamaica knew that. This is Meach's
Yeah.
team. Allen, coming from an organization where he's the man, he got to buy in. That was our whole goal going forward. Allen got to buy in, yo. Like, he got to follow Meach, not the other way around. But it just so happened we played ADC, one of the top organizations, and it went the other way. Allen ended up having like 43, but Meach had 36 off of like cleanup buckets and playing secondary. So we was like, okay, what we gonna do with this now? Like Allen is pretty much who he is. Because when he first started, the consensus was, yo, he a chucker. He would really he was on he knew how to get the rebound and go.
Yeah.
But, it got to the point to where Meach was like, yo, I just want to win. He's like, I don't care how we do it, I just want to win. So now, you have to make the playoffs. You have to make the playoffs in Gersh. The top four in each division makes the playoff. You have to make the playoffs. We went on a 4-game win streak to where it's like, they're taking us serious now. Like, yo, Diamond is not out. They not out. They got to win this game. They got to win this game. And we called a 50-50 break. We had 2 difficult games. In 2 games, we should have won outright, but they still gave us a little bit of issue. And Coach of the Year was solidified the final Sunday night of the regular season. Diamond couldn't make it to the game. He lived upstate, and he got caught in traffic. So I get the call 20 minutes before game time. It was a primetime game. Yo, you have to do it on your own. I'm not going to be able to make it. So on the phone, I'm like, yeah, I got it. Been there, done that. It's like riding a bike for me. But now, we coexist with each other. You see Maine, you see me. You see me, you see Maine. So when we step in that park together, within that energy, we feed off each other.
Yeah.
So now, it's an 8:30 game under the lights versus one of the top teams in the league. And I'm by myself. I got followers that knew our organization in the crowd asking, yo, where's Diamond? I'm like, yo, he not making it tonight. So they're like, yo, you good? Like, you got this? And I'm like, yeah, I got it. It was like, yo, y'all need this game. They rooting for us though. Y'all need this game to make the playoffs. You lose, you out. That's pretty much what it was. So Jamaica ended up being home, and it was just one of the things that we yo. He said, I got you. I said, all right. First quarter started, by himself. He went on like a 15-0 run. First time out I called, I said, yo, this is how we're going to simplify this. This is how we're going to do this. If it ain't broke, we ain't fixing it. Until we can't ride him no more, that's who we going to. Played one of the biggest games of his life for me. And then everybody still did what they were supposed to do without even forcing him to rock. It was just one of those things that we're under those lights and that atmosphere and that energy, it was just meant to happen. I was surprised when, I got the call from the commissioner. He said, yo, what's your real name? When I told him what my real name was and he knew how to spell it and knew the meaning of it, he was like, yo, that's dope. I never knew that. And I'm like, we talk about my name, and I'm like, yo, why you need my real name, man? Hold on. Like, everything else go through Diamond. Why you need my name? Like, what's up? So then I found out later on from Diamond, and we both got Coach of the Year. But the way I got the news from Diamond, he was like, yo, you did it, boy. You did it, boy. You a top coach in the city. What they going to say now? Now, mind you, before I got that Coach of the Year, the year prior, we went to the championship in Hoops in the Sun, but we lost. But West Fork, we went undefeated and won the championship. The commissioner overlooked me as if I had nothing to do with it, but I wanted to win that more for Diamond because of the politics and how it went. He would automatically, every year, West Fork was on the menu. West Fork was on the menu. And somehow, some way, we would get jerked and come up short in the Final Four, whatever. The last time before we won it, the referee told Jamaica was like, yo, it was like 30 seconds left. He said, yo, that's a foul. Why you ain't call it? He said, why you ain't dunk it? So you ain't call a foul because he ain't dunk it? We ended up losing about 1 point. So halfway through that winning season, I made it a point. We're not only going to win this year, but we're going to be perfect.
Yeah, hold on. To this one.
You cut?
Yeah, we just got to cut it. Hello? Yeah. I'm still at the same spot. What happened? Keep calling.
So we end up. I said, now we not only we're gonna win it. We're gonna win this. We're gonna do it. Different than anybody did it.
Mm-hmm.
So we end up, going undefeated. And it's just crazy because the championship game, you've seen people come out that you haven't seen in years watch this championship game. And they were pretty much, the team we played had took it already back to back. And they were upcoming in the ranks of New York City, summer pro basketball. Usual suspects. They had sponsors and all that. And they had the top talent. Sunday Other Games played for the New Jersey Nets at the time. He was on the team. Irv Walker, who graduated from the University of Florida. They had my other man, Bird, left hand, nice small forward. They had a team. They came to see them beat us. They was like, yo, y'all undefeated, but today is where y'all lose because we didn't see each other in the regular season. But West Fork, the way they did it, you would be in the East, I'll be in the West. But in the playoff, you cross brackets.
Cross bracket, wow.
So the park was packed. 80% of that park came to see us lose. And again, it was just one of those things that the atmosphere, we're not losing. So when we won, the other 20% that came to see us win, but they went crazy. But the commissioner, the look on his face, he was trying to get his assistant commissioners to give us our stuff, which was my man M-Dot got MVP, 42-inch screen TV, and then we got TVs as well. When they were bringing us the stuff, I said, nah, we don't want it from y'all. He got to get up, and give it to Diamond. He got to give him that trophy. So they went, talked or whatever.
Yeah, he was really mad about doing
He was
that.
really, he was really mad that he had to give him that trophy. Like, now we want it from him. Never went back after that.
Wow.
I said, I told Diamond, I said, I don't know what you want to do, but you instilled in me to be the next coach of this organization or whatever. I said, but if I had it my way, this is what I'm going to do. I'm leaving on top and perfect. I'm not coming back. He said, that's what it is then. We ain't coming back. So we never went back to West Florida.
Wow. So now, this is where we going now. The bird is back. The bird is back. The comeback. The biggest part with this comeback was something you said. You wrote on Facebook was you wanted your son to see you play.
Yeah.
You said your son was behind this part of
Yeah.
you playing.
His mother, when she found out that, I had the surgery or whatever, she has this mantra that she'll tell anybody, yo, my son's superhero is his father. So just hearing that alone, I got to conduct myself a certain way. There were certain ways now at the football field, I couldn't do certain things I did before because I got him with me more.
Yeah.
During the week, he'll make sure when I speak to him, you coming to get me this weekend? We going to the football field to see the games or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I got to transition into a better person. So now, she said he took it hard when I had the surgery. When he's at the age now though, to talk, speak his mind. So one of the conversations we had, he was like, so Dad, you can't play basketball or football no more? You're not going to play no more? And, trying not to think so much into it, but still be a good dad at the same time. I'm like, there's life after sports, right? I can still do other things. I can play with you, go places with you, whatever. And he's like, yeah, but Dad, all you know is football and basketball. So I'm like, this kid is trying to not let me get away from this. So one of the main things a lot of people don't know, the day after I had the surgery, the doctor sent me to this rehab program within the hospital. And one of the first things they did was put me through an independent training, which was they had inside the hospital this facility that was set up like a house. So they had a bathroom, they had stairs, they had a living room, kitchen, and it was pretty much like, let's see how independent you are just with one leg. All right. I was supposed to be in the training for at least 2 months. I tested out 3 weeks later. You don't need this. You girl, you're independent on your own. So now I'm working out, and it was, do I keep it to myself or do I share it with the world? I said, fuck it. Let me share it with the world. So that's when I started putting the videos up of me working out.
Yeah, every day working out.
Every day working out with my brother. He would be like, yo, come to the gym, bro. Like, just work out. So I'm working out. I was already staying with him anyway. So now, I'm working out. Because of the surgery and how long I was away from work, I had lost my apartment I had in East Orange, New Jersey. So that's how I ended up staying with my brother. So I'm like, I'm here, I might as well work out. And the process of working out, I'm, building my legs strong enough, it never set well with me that I was going to be in a wheelchair. It was always on my mind, I'm getting a prosthetic. I'm getting back on my feet. So I went through that training and that obstacle of, mentally dealing with. It went so fast, I never really had an opportunity to sit back and grasp I lost a body part.
Yeah.
The transformation from the hospital to that training to getting my prosthetic actually took the void, took the place of the void of me sitting back like, yo, bro, like you really lost a body part. So I jumped right back up at it, and I was going through a relationship situation that, although it didn't look like it was bothering, it was attacking everything else. And the young lady I was in a relationship with at the time, she had a conversation with my sister, and she was like, "Yo, he act like he don't need nobody, like he act like he's too good to hurt, or he's always strong and a super person." And my sister was telling me, she had to explain to her like, "Yo, you don't know the type of drastic change his life just took for the worst. This is a dude that grew up predominantly around sports. That's all he really had. That's being taken away from him. He can't do that no more. And then on top of my son, every chance he got like that, you're not gonna play no more." Or it wouldn't even be him saying that. It got to the point that now he's playing football.
Yeah.
So every time I got him, he want to watch football or something about football, or we talking about football. So once I got into the mode of knowing I was able to exercise, drive, walk, and get on a bike with the prosthetic, Shorty said, I can see in your face, I already know what's coming. And I'm like, yup, yup, the moves is coming back. She was like, "Yo, you sure?" I was like, "I am definitely sure." And it was my son. He was like, "You gonna play football again?" I was like, "I'm gonna give it a shot." He was like, "Let's go, let's go." It was just him that got me hyped. And I was just like, it was no longer about winning or losing. It was just seeing the gratification on his face. Like he was telling his friends, yo, y'all know my dad got a prosthetic or whatever. He just played football again. He playing football again. Like he wanted to come to the games to see me play. So it was like, win or lose, I'm gonna do this for him, but it was, it was for me too. And I was able to walk out on my own. The injury, the surgery didn't take me out. I was able to walk out on my own and say, it's time to hang it up.
That's a wrap.